Chapter 81, Chapter 81, Rebirth, Big Harvest. With the death of the undead dragon, Su Yang's kidney essence finally increased to 100%, giving him a good energy attribute. It allowed him to maintain his energy, and at the same time, his stamina recovery speed increased by 200%. At this moment, Su Yang only felt a steady stream of power surging out of his body. The physical strength that he had consumed when he used the burning mountains and burying seas technique earlier was quickly recovered. He even felt that, below his lower abdomen, there was an extremely restrictive warm current flowing continuously. With this warmth, he could feel that he was always in a state of exuberance. This made Su Yang a little worried. However, in general, the attribute of exuberant energy was not bad. Su Yang nodded with satisfaction, then quickly collected his thoughts and looked at the necromancer who was rolling on the ground. Don't kill me, I choose to submit." The necromancer looked at Su Yang in horror and begged for mercy. He chose to surrender. However, Su Yang didn't care at all. He swung his blade and easily killed the undead mage. Killed undead mage. Acquired necromancer special ability, Rebirth +1. Rebirth. Su Yang was slightly stunned when he heard the name. Just by looking at the name of the special ability, Rebirth, one could tell what it was used for. Rebirth. Effect. When you die, you will be given a chance to be reborn. A current number of uses, 1. Resurrection from the dead. The effect of Su Yang's rebirth completely surprised him. This was the ability to resurrect. Although he had previously obtained the Twilight Seal, which gave him a chance to revive, he was still very confident. However, that was the ability of a prop. It could only be used once. And now, looking at the information of the rebirth ability, it was obvious that this was a special ability that could continuously increase the number of revivals. Currently, he could only be reborn once. However, there were many undead. Su Yang looked at the place where the necromancer had died, his eyes flashing. Is it this undead mage's own uniqueness that gave me the ability to revive? Or is it that all undead can give me the ability to revive? This thought suddenly flashed in his mind, causing Su Yang to feel a little nervous. After all, this question was very accurate to him. If it was only because of the necromancer's own uniqueness that he gained the ability to resurrect, it would be much more difficult to increase the number of times he could resurrect, and he would have no goal. If any undead could give him the ability to revive, then he would have a specific goal. Let's find another undead and try it. Su Yang's eyes flickered, and he immediately made a decision. However, it wasn't time yet. He noticed that there were 8 undead succubi that were running away. He casually waved his blade and killed these undead succubi. He killed undead succubus. He received a charm fragment. Death energy has been enhanced. After the 8 undead succubi were killed, they would be given 8 charm shards and an increase in death aura. In addition to the 3 succubi he had killed before, Su Yang now had a total of 11 charm shards. It just so happened to be able to be combined into 1 point of charm attribute. Hidden attribute, charm 10 + 1. It was just a small increase in charm. Su Yang's entire aura could be felt changing. Meow tilde. Little Zai, who was lying on his shoulder, felt the change in Su Yang. She couldn't help but turn her head and look at him curiously. Then she took the initiative to rub her small cat face against his face. Feeling little Zai's fluffy little face, Su Yang chuckled and patted her little head. Then he looked at the group of undead monsters not far away. At that moment, hundreds of thousands of monsters and beasts that had turned into undead were dying under the burning of the supreme divine flame. Soon, 300,000 to 400,000 undead monsters were all burned to ashes. At the same time, Su Yang also gained a huge amount of experience. Level increased, current level LV44. Received 300 independent attribute points. Level increased, current level LV45. Received 300 independent attribute points. This experience directly allowed him to level up 2 levels. After distributing all the independent attribute points, Su Yang checked his other gains. With the existence of fortune, no matter what monster Su Yang killed, he would be able to obtain a lot of gold coins. Therefore, after killing all 300,000 to 400,000 undead monsters, he had obtained 15,428,645 gold coins. 15 million gold coins. If he didn't have the fortune attribute, the number of gold coins he could get would drop by at least 7 or 8 times, or even more. 15 million gold coins. Seeing this result, Su Yang was extremely excited. He originally thought that it would take some time to save up 10 million gold coins. He didn't expect that this wave of undead caused by the undead race would directly help him achieve his small goal, in addition to the gold coins that he had previously accumulated. Now Su Yang's savings were close to 20 million gold coins. I was planning to use all of it once I've saved up 10 million gold coins. But Su Yang looked at the gold coins he currently had, and then looked at his sky-high fortune attribute and the 3-level abilities he currently had. He thought about it. He felt that he had to wait a little longer to save up some gold coins, and then use the method of swallowing gold to improve his level. Moreover, he had yet to encounter an enemy that could force him to use his full combat strength. Therefore, he was often in a hurry to raise his level and increase his strength. Later on, if he encountered an unexpected situation, he could just swallow gold to increase his strength temporarily. Then Su Yang looked at the attribute shards he had obtained. With the talent effect of extreme growth, he could quickly plunder every monster he killed. Originally, after these undead monsters were killed, they would at most drop some experience and gold coins. However, with the existence of the forbidden talent, after these monsters were all killed, they would directly obtain a large number of attribute shards. These attribute fragments, when combined into attribute points, could strengthen his own basic attributes. Su Yang simply glanced at it and felt that he had obtained too many attribute fragments. Therefore, he directly exchanged them all for attribute points and then checked them. Chapter 82, Chapter 82, the special attribute of Death Kai. Strength plus 7041. Constitution plus 6431. Agility plus 7612. Intelligence plus 6412. Summary increased by 27,000 points. Su Yang's basic attributes had almost doubled. With the increase in his basic attributes, Su Yang felt that all aspects of his body had been strengthened significantly. His basic strength had increased by several times. Then he swung his fist. With just his basic strength, he could directly smash the tall trees around him into pieces. After feeling the strength of his body, Su Yang checked his attribute information. Basic attributes: Strength 13,249, Constitution 14,781, Agility 11,423, Intelligence 7941. Compared to before, it had indeed increased by quite a bit. This was also the first time Su Yang's basic attributes had received such a huge boost. His entire person, from inside to outside, seemed to have transformed. How did Heavenly Sun's basic attributes suddenly increase so much? It's like he's entered a special secret realm, causing his basic attributes to transform again and again. I can feel it too. Isn't this ridiculous? Isn't such a transformation only possible in some special secret lands? Damn it, we've all underestimated Heavenly Sun's ability. He just killed hundreds of thousands of undead, and his basic attributes have already changed. His ability is very powerful. That's right. Heavenly Sun has such a terrifying and dangerous ability, and he's also an existence that has completed the mythical advancement mission. Once he's given the opportunity, he'll quickly grow to a point where he can threaten us. I'm a little regretful. I shouldn't have allowed my clan to participate in the ranking battle against the Blue Planet. There's no use regretting it. Right now, we can only completely seal the Heavenly Sun on the Blue Planet and monitor it closely. Once he steps out of the Blue Planet, we can quickly kill him to save everything. Perhaps we might still have a chance to see a trace of transcendence. The experts who were paying attention to the ranking battlefield also noticed that Su Yang's basic attributes had doubled. After seeing Su Yang's basic attributes change, powerhouses from all over the world were shocked. Some of the weaker powerhouses in the world even felt regretful. However, it was too late to regret it now. The powerhouses from all the realms soon came to a consensus to completely seal off the Blue Star battlefront and keep a close eye on Heavenly Sun. His ability might be even stronger than Tai Yuan's. In the depths of the abyss, the Netherlord also noticed the change in Su Yang's basic attributes. At this moment, he could no longer sit still. He could not help but glance at the contestants from the Abyss world in the direction of Tai Yuan. Ha, not bad, not bad. After seeing Tai Yuan's condition, the Netherlord could not help but laugh heartily. In his vision, he saw Tai Yuan relying on his strength to slaughter undead monsters in a tide of undead. He knew that not only could Tai Yuan's devouring ability increase his basic attributes, but it could also continuously provide him with explosive power. As long as Tai Yuan killed a sufficient number of creatures, the accumulated power would be released. Even he, who was already a god, would be amazed. The undead tide that the undead clan has raised this time has greatly increased Tai Yuan's strength. Ha. The Nether Lord was very happy to see Tai Yuan slaughtering the undead monsters. At this time, after feeling the increase in strength, Su Yang frowned and looked at the attributes of the death energy. That was because after killing 300,000 to 400,000 undead creatures, the Death Kai's attributes had not even reached 100%. Previously, Su Yang only needed to kill tens of thousands of monsters to max out a special attribute. He didn't expect that, after killing so many undead creatures, the death energy attribute was still not full. Su Yang checked the related information. Killed a total of 375,346 undead creatures. Death Kai increased to 76%. Only 76%. It seems like the Death Kai's attribute is very special. It's not simple. After reading the message, Su Yang couldn't help but think. Originally, Su Yang had thought that this wave would be able to max out the Death Kai attribute. After all, he had encountered quite a few good attributes since he entered the ranking battlefield. In particular, the Fate Concealment attribute given by the Wizard clan was the highest. However, it was a pity. These attributes could not be maxed out in the ranking battlefield. He could only watch. Now it was not easy for him to have a chance to max out the death energy attribute. He did not expect that this attribute was also a little special. After killing so many undead monsters, it was still not full. He looked at the ashes on the ground. Su Yang heaved a sigh of relief and looked at the corpse of the necromancer. He searched the corpse. He obtained a space ring with a small space. After checking, there were only tens of thousands of gold coins and a small skull, which should be similar to the Tinder communication device. As for the other items, they were all strange colors. Pauper. Su Yang was a little disdainful, but he kept the space ring. After collecting more than 100,000 gold coins from a few succubi, Su Yang looked around and confirmed that he had not missed anything. He took out the skull and checked it. This skull was indeed the communication device of the undead race. In addition to the undead mage that Su Yang had just killed, there were 6 other undead race participants. The undead clan released the undead virus and transformed many monsters and fierce beasts on the battlefield into undead monsters. Then, each of them led a group of hundreds of thousands of undead monsters and headed in different directions. Through such mages, the scale of the undead tide could be rapidly expanded. Under the delusion breaker Su Yang quickly learned about the history of the skull. He learned the direction of the other 6 undead. After some consideration and comparison, Su Yang chose the direction of the undead race participant closest to him. Taking advantage of the fact that he was still full of energy, he immediately set out to rush over. After killing this group of undead monsters, I should be able to max out my death energy attribute. Su Yang thought to himself as he chased. His current goal was to max out the death energy attribute as soon as possible. If he didn't know that it was impossible now, he would have wanted to cover up his shadow affinity and fate attributes. Although he couldn't max it out for the time being, the names of the ghost race and the wizard race were deeply engraved in his heart. He stepped on the wind and waves, with a clear direction and target. Su Yang's speed was extremely fast. A few hours later, the dark sky gradually brightened. At this time, he could already faintly hear the hoarse roars of monsters and beasts after being transformed into undead. Chapter 83, Chapter 83, Proven, the Lord of Death, the existence that rules over death. During his journey, he noticed the scattered traces of battle, but there were no monster corpses. Rebirth. Su Yang thought to himself as he looked forward. He had always been thinking about his rebirth. This time, he could use the undead race participant to confirm his guess. Not long after, in Su Yang's vision, he saw a few monsters that had been transformed into undead. "We've caught up." A hint of joy flashed across his face. Without any hesitation, he increased his speed again and soon appeared above a group of hundreds of thousands of undead monsters. Su Yang's eyes scanned the undead monsters and soon found an undead creature that looked like a dried corpse in a mage robe. Compared to the undead monsters that were transformed from other monsters and fierce beasts, the undead monsters were much stronger. This mummified undead creature was wearing a mage's robe, so it was easy to identify. It was definitely an undead race participant. There was no nonsense and no order. Su Yang's figure flickered, and he instantly appeared on the undead race contestant with the Heart Slayer in his hand. Then, before the undead race contestant could react, he directly slashed at him with Heart Slayer. The attack of the blade energy directly shattered the defensive magic shields around the undead competitor. Then the attack didn't slow down and directly slashed at its body. The undead race participants were all magic professions, so their defense was very weak compared to their peers of other professions. The moment Su Yang's blade touched its body, it was instantly killed. Killed Undead Mage. Acquired special ability, Rebirth +1. Wow! After killing the quest target, Su Yang looked at the message and couldn't help but let out an excited cheer. Rebirth. It seems that my guess was correct. After these undead are killed, they will indeed be given the ability to be resurrected. An undead is a life. Su Yang was extremely excited. This was a life and a chance to revive. However, he only needed to kill one member of the undead race to obtain it. How could Su Yang not be excited? There are 5 more undead race participants, which means that there are 5 chances of resurrection. Su Yang's eyes lit up when he thought of the other 5 undead race participants. Right now, he really wanted to immediately catch up to the remaining 5 undead race participants. However, this was completely impossible. No, I can make them come to me. Su Yang suddenly thought of this and picked up the skull. After thinking for a while, he gave up on the crying head and found a space ring on the corpse of the necromancer that he had just killed. Then he took out the skull he had put in his interspatial ring. With the delusion breaker eye, Su Yang compared the historical information in the 2 skulls. After that, he mimicked the message that the undead mage sent to the other 5 undead contestants. The general meaning of the message was, "Find the target, quickly come to support." Soon, Su Yang noticed that there were replies from other undead race participants in the skull. However, it seemed that only 3 undead race participants responded. There was no news of the other 2 undead race participants. They were probably busy with other things and had not noticed. Su Yang didn't care much for the time being. He then used the skull communication device to call out to the other undead race participants. After making sure that they had changed their direction and were heading in his direction, Su Yang put down the skull and smiled. This way, he didn't have to waste his energy looking for the remaining undead race participants. He only needed to wait here. At this time, Su Yang also saw that hundreds of thousands of undead monsters were heading toward him. Just in time, I'll take advantage of this break to finish you off first. Su Yang smiled as he looked at the hundreds of thousands of undead monsters surrounding him. Raging fire, burning mountains and burying seas. After attacking the undead monsters, Su Yang quietly waited for these monsters to slowly turn into ashes under the scourge of the supreme divine flame. He killed undead monster. Death energy has been enhanced. He killed undead monster. Death energy has been enhanced. Killed a total of 486,124 undead creatures. Death energy has reached 100%. Increase to 100%. A beginning contact with the edicts of death. Acquired death level 1%. Rank of death. You have begun to come into contact with the realm of death and have a very long comprehension ability in the realm of death. Acquired the title of the Lord of Death. Lord of Death. The Lord of Death who lives in death has the ability to enslave and control undead creatures. Death rank. The death energy attribute has been increased to 100%, and I've actually obtained 1% of the death position. This happiness came too suddenly. Su Yang had originally felt that with the uniqueness of the death energy attribute, there would definitely be unexpected gains once it was maxed out. However, he did not expect that this would allow him to directly touch the rules of death and obtain 1% of the level of death. This level of death was definitely a high-level existence. He really didn't expect that it would be so easy for him to obtain another level, and a higher level at that. Lord of Death. The Lord of Death can enslave the undead. After calming himself down, Su Yang looked at the title of the Lord of Death given to him by the level of death. This title and the abilities that he had obtained were a natural counter to undead creatures. I might be able to control the undead as well. Su Yang's eyes flickered as a bold idea appeared in his mind. Chapter 84, Chapter 84. Wait, please spare my life. Su Yang wanted to enslave one of the undead race participants. Obtain information about the world where the undead race is located through this undead race participant. At the same time, it could also be used as a guide or method for him to enter the world where the undead race was in the future. Otherwise, even if he was lucky enough to avoid the eyes of many powerhouses in the future and step out of the blue planet, he could only go to the world where the undead race was located. He would be blind and could easily take action. Su Yang knew very well that once he left the blue planet and stepped into the other worlds of heaven, with the strength that he had displayed so far, he had attracted the attention of many powerhouses and would not easily cause too much of a commotion. Otherwise, it would be easy for something to happen, and they would be hunted down even more fiercely. This time, if you can get information about other worlds in advance, it will be very important. Right now, although the ranking battle had not ended yet. However, in fact, Su Yang had already thought of leaving the Blue Star and entering other worlds in heaven. As for hiding on the blue planet, he might have considered this idea before the ranking battle. However, he had to do something. In the face of the reincarnation ability given by the undead race, there was also the fate concealment ultimate attribute that he had obtained from killing the sorcerer tribe. His heart was no longer on the blue planet. Obviously, the wider heaven scripture could give him more powerful attributes. This was not something that the monsters on the blue planet could compare to. The thoughts in his mind kept spinning. Su Yang's eyes lit up. After a moment of silence, he temporarily suppressed the various plans he had for the future in his heart. For now, it was better to complete the ranking battle first. Moreover, he still hadn't figured out how he could avoid the powerhouses from all the worlds and leave the blue planet. Therefore, there was no point in thinking so much. Looking at the undead monsters that had been completely annihilated under the burning mountains and burying seas, Su Yang glanced at his own gains. The amount of gold coins he obtained kept increasing. After this wave, he should be able to get another 10 million gold coins. It was the same for the attribute fragments. He exchanged all of them for attribute points. His summary points had increased by more than 20,000. His basic attributes had once again increased by half. Compared to the last time, the feeling of his body being strengthened was slightly less. Su Yang had already expected this. Basic bones. Strength 21,745. Constitution 22,421. Agility 17,641. Intelligence 14,567. Su Yang looked at his current basic attributes. After he had an idea of what to do, he looked away. Over 20,000 strength and constitution. Extreme growth. The more I kill, the stronger I become. This ability is too powerful. With my current basic attributes, I should be about the same as some advanced gold-tier attributes. Su Yang sighed in his heart. After that, he communicated with the other undead creatures through the skull. After getting a hold of their information, he waited quietly for this undead to come over and deliver their heads. Why haven't the other two replied? Su Yang looked at the skull in his hand and noticed that the two undead race participants had not replied since he sent the message. He couldn't help but wonder. After thinking for a while, Su Yang couldn't help but think. These two guys wouldn't have been killed by the other participants, right? Su Yang could not help but feel his heart ache when he thought of this. No, I can't continue waiting. There are geniuses from other worlds participating in the ranking battle. The undead disaster caused by these undead race participants is completely useless against true powerhouses. Su Yang couldn't wait any longer and decided to take the initiative to attack. For the time being, he couldn't care less about the two undead race participants who didn't reply to his message. He looked at the three undead race participants who had just communicated and checked their exact information. He picked the guy closest to him and rushed over. On the way, Su Yang discovered that an undead race contestant who had previously made a simple communication with him suddenly sent a warning message. Damn it, this guy is too strong. It's getting stronger as we kill it. Don't bring the undead army to that guy. They are here, run. You guys run too. Su Yang learned of the warning message sent by the undead race participant. You dare to steal my kills? Are you tired of living? Seeing this warning message, Su Yang was a little unhappy. It was obvious that the undead contestant who had sent the warning message was already dead. This was the number of times he could be reborn. Su Yang was a little angry when he thought about how his reincarnation was ruined by this guy. However, he didn't change his direction and headed in the direction of the undead race contestant who had sent the warning. First of all, it would take time to get there. Furthermore, he was not sure if the undead race participant would still be alive when he arrived. It would be better to find the remaining two undead race participants who were still fine, in order to avoid any accidents from happening to the remaining two undead race participants. Su Yang immediately increased his speed. Half an hour later, in his dream, a large number of undead monsters appeared. I made it in time. Fortunately, this undead clan contestant is still fine. Su Yang felt a little lucky. He then looked around and found the participants in the undead army. In the next second, Su Yang's figure flashed and directly appeared in front of the undead skeleton mage. At the same time, he wore the title of the Lord of Death. Under the blessing of the level of death, a strong aura of death attacked the undead race contestant. Submit or death, Su Yang said indifferently. Although he had thought of enslaving an undead race participant to obtain information, he first had to see the attitude of this undead race. Detestable, who is it? Damn it, you actually dare to enslave me. You're looking for death. This aura of death. The undead clan's participants were struggling to resist the pressure of Su Yang's Lord of Death. He was extremely unwilling. He raised his head with great difficulty, wanting to see who was the one who wanted it to submit and who could emit such a strong aura of death. Soon, Su Yang's figure appeared in his sight. Human. It's that human. Why is it him? In an instant, the high-intelligence undead skeleton mage had guessed a lot of information. He looked at the undead skeleton mage, who was still struggling to resist. Su Yang's expression was calm as he waved the Heart Slayer. Since you chose to resist, you chose to destroy. There was also another undead race contestant to choose from. Su Yang didn't pay much attention to the undead mage in front of him. Since it had chosen to resist, he would just kill it directly and get a chance to be reborn. Just as Su Yang was about to make his move. Wait, I choose to submit. The skeletal mage, who had been resisting tenaciously just now, saw Su Yang raise his sword. He instantly crawled to the ground and shouted. Su Yang was speechless. Chapter 85, Chapter 85. The Power of the Magic Card Seal. Su Yang stopped his blade. He looked at the undead skeleton mage in front of him with a blank expression. In just a moment ago, he had a look of resistance. He even dared to raise his head to look at him under the pressure of the Lord of Death. Why did he suddenly change his mind and kneel on the ground, begging for mercy? Could there be a conspiracy? Su Yang's eyes were sharp. Heart Slayer in his hand seemed to be able to cut off even gravel. The undead skeleton mage that was kneeling on the ground was overjoyed when he realized that he had not been killed. Then he carefully raised his head and looked at Su Yang. He knew that he wouldn't die for the time being, but if he wanted to live, he had to continue working hard. Respected human expert, the aura of death that you're emitting is that of a monarch filled with supreme might. I only felt an aura, and I knew that I had met my true master. Forgive me for looking up at you, because I wanted to see your majesty's mighty face. Please accept the most loyal respect from your most humble servant. Therefore, in order to survive, the undead skeleton mage directly paid respects to Su Yang in the most humble manner. Su Yang carefully looked at the skeleton mage of the undead race. This was the first time he had encountered such a weirdo. As a genius from another world, is this all you have? However, this was also good. A servant that was easy to subdue would give him more accurate and detailed information. Therefore, Su Yang put away the heart slash and didn't plan to make a move for the time being. Noticing that Su Yang had put away his weapon, the skeletal mage's suspended heart finally relaxed. It knew that it had temporarily survived. To Su Yang, the undead race's skeleton mage's verbal surrender would definitely not work. His hands glowed, and an obsidian-colored magic card appeared. He looked at the mage, who was still kneeling on the ground. Since you've chosen to submit, things will be easier. It's not good to resist, or else. Hearing Su Yang's words, the undead skeleton mage heaved a sigh of relief. He rejoiced in his heart. This time, he really didn't have to die. It did not put up any resistance, as it looked at the magic card sealing array that was coming at it. Very quickly, it was sealed into a magic card. This was also the first time Su Yang had used the magic card to seal an ability that could only be used on living creatures. Even though it was just a skeleton. Picking up the magic card, Su Yang briefly checked the information. A character card. A name, Bamboo Pavilion. Level, Silver Level 48, Overlord. Race, Undead. A class, Necromancer. A health points, 100%. A mana, 100%. Skill ability, Disaster of the Dead. Summon Undead, Undead Strengthening. A talent, Extremely Smart. This is the magic card seal, the magic card that seals the creature. Looking at the magic card in his hand, Su Yang looked at the information on it with great interest. This necromancer looked good in all aspects, and he had also completed the advancement to an overlord. It couldn't be ignored. Moreover, It was extremely intelligent. Perhaps it was because the degree would only increase, so the more afraid he was of death. Was that why it instinctively chose to submit to him? But Su Yang glanced at the name of the undead skeleton mage on the magic card and was a little surprised. Especially with the eye of the net, he could see deeper information. He was very sure it was a female skeleton mage. However, there was only a skeleton left, and nothing could be seen. Hence, Su Yang quickly forgot about this small matter. The main purpose of subduing and enslaving this undead skeleton mage was to obtain information about the undead race and where they were sitting from her. Are the undead so cowardly, they actually chose to surrender and sealed their resources to make magic cards. How interesting. Indeed, isn't he too cowardly? He fell to the ground after being scared by Heavenly Sun's blade. Why did the undead clan send such a good-for-nothing to participate in the ranking battle? This Heavenly Sun is not simple. Did you all feel that aura just now? It's the power of another level, and it looks like the level of death. This kind of talent is too terrifying. The powerhouses from all the realms couldn't help but laugh at the undead clan's skeleton mage's behavior. At the same time, some powerhouses were shocked when they discovered the death level that Su Yang was emitting. Damn it, has this undead lost all the dignity of our undead race? Calm down, it's just a little skeleton. It doesn't care about these things. In a gray area, the world of the dead was filled with undead creatures. A few powerful undead figures were also furious when they saw this scene. The Abyss has sent a terrifying genius this time. He has already killed 3 of our undead race's members. He's even worse than Heavenly Sun. You should die. A powerful undead figure looked at the ranking battlefield and said in an indifferent voice, "The Abyss, that group of damned guys, HMPH. The ranking battle this time has completely exceeded our remaining strength. The few undead race participants that we sent out caused the undead disaster. It doesn't pose much of a threat to the participants from other realms. Instead, it has become their nourishment. Indeed, I didn't expect to meet such a strange guy like Heavenly Sun. I didn't expect that there would be such a terrifying monster in the Abyss. I wonder who's stronger, the Abyss or Heavenly Sun." Having their attention attracted, a few powerful undead figures looked at the other side of the ranking battlefield and began to discuss helplessly. On this side, after checking the information on the magic card, Su Yang waved his hand and released the undead skeleton wizard bamboo pavilion from the magic card. "Great Master, your benevolence makes me extremely respectful." The King Dragon skeleton wizard, who had just come out of the magic card, said respectfully, without any regard for his face. In his heart, he was shocked. Isn't this the highest ceiling ability of the sorcerer tribe? How did he master such a strange ability? However, this was also good. At least he was able to keep his life. It was not easy for him to awaken the wisdom of his previous life and become an undead. He did not want to die like this. The ranking battle was truly dangerous. It clearly didn't want to participate, but it was forced to. Now that it had chosen to surrender, it could not be blamed. Moreover, the Master's death kai was so terrifying. He would definitely become a powerful existence in the future. If it followed him, perhaps it would become even stronger in the future. Chapter 86, Chapter 86, A Female Skeleton. All right, let's not talk nonsense. Get up. Su Yang did not know what the necromancer was thinking in just a few seconds. However, thinking that the skeleton in front of him was a female skeleton, Su Yang's mouth twitched and he waved his hand. "Yes, Master." The undead skeleton mage was good at taking orders. She stood up and respectfully stood beside Su Yang, waiting for further instructions. She knew that Su Yang had enslaved her for a purpose. Su Yang looked at his subordinate's attitude and nodded in satisfaction. Since your name is Zhu Ting, I'll call you Zhu Ting from now on. Zhu Ting, Bamboo Pavilion, a name from a long time ago. The undead skeleton mage's soul flickered as she thought to herself. Yes, master, she quickly replied. You undead clan, what kind of undead is considered an undead? Su Yang asked. When he killed the undead of the undead race, he could gain the number of times he could be resurrected. However, what kind of undead could be considered undead? This question was very important to him. What kind of undead are considered undead? Zhu Ting pondered for a while and then said, Master, there are many types of undead, but there aren't many real undead. Only those who can awaken from their previous life can be considered true undead. As for the other undead, they are just undead. I see, that is the true undead race. Perhaps this is also the reason why I can obtain the revival count after killing them. Su Yang's eyes flashed with a hint of seductiveness. He now understood what kind of undead he had to look for in order to obtain the number of times he could be resurrected. As expected, the idea of subduing and enslaving an undead race was right. So, as a real undead, you should know all kinds of information about the undead world you are in, right? Su Yang continued to ask. Yes, Master, I know the basic information. Master, do you want to go to the world of the undead? I'm familiar with the way, I can lead the way for you. Zhu Ting said excitedly. What did this mean? This meant that she was valuable to Su Yang, and she would not be abandoned if she was valuable. Lead the way. Su Yang glanced at Zhu Ting, who was opening and closing her mouth in excitement, and the word traitor subconsciously appeared in his head. However, with Zhu Ting leading the way, it would definitely be more convenient for him to head to the netherworld, where she was in the future. After a simple conversation with Zhu Ting and obtaining some information, Su Yang put him into the magic card. His gaze swept across the hundreds of thousands of undead monsters not far away. He immediately used the burning mountain's burying sea to destroy all of them. In the West Forest, not far from Su Yang's location, a figure was fleeing at high speed, looking as if he was seriously injured. That is Shen Yan. The figure's bright eyes noticed the light blue flames in the sky that had lit up again and whispered. Level increased, current level, LV46. Received 300 free attribute points. Level increased, current level, LV47. Received 300 free attribute points. With the death of this batch of undead monsters, a large amount of experience points also followed. Originally, Su Yang's experience points were about to level up. Now, the experience gained from killing these undead monsters had increased by 2 levels. The attribute allocation number that will be obtained. He checked the gold coins he had obtained again. With the attribute of heaven-defying fortune, he had earned more than 15 million gold coins this time. Su Yang's total gold coins had already exceeded 50 million. He had already achieved half of his goal of saving up 100 million gold coins. This was all thanks to the help of the undead race participants. In Su Yang's heart, he was very grateful to these undead race participants. In addition to the gold coins, he had also gained a large number of attribute fragments, which he had exchanged for attribute points. His basic attributes had increased once again. Basic bones. Strength 27,456, constitution 28,315, agility 24,756, intelligence 19,751. After glancing at his attribute information, Su Yang picked up the skull and looked at the location information of the other undead race participant. In the southwest, Su Yang's gaze was directed to the southwest, and his footsteps were too strange. A wave of wind gradually appeared under his feet. With the help of the wind waves, his speed also increased. It was only in the middle of a dozen minutes. Su Yang could see that he was commanding hundreds of thousands of undead monsters. He also headed in this direction. The contestant, who was controlling the undead monsters, had not realized the severity of the situation. Su Yang's eyes scanned the area and found a human-like spirit. It was obvious that this undead was the undead race participant he was looking for. After discovering his target, he didn't hesitate. He held Heart Slayer and split the undead tide apart. At the same time, he quickly arrived in front of this undead race. "Damn it, human, why are you here?" The undead race contestant, who was commanding hundreds of thousands of undead monsters to move, looked at Su Yang, who suddenly appeared in front of him. After a short moment of shock, he opened his mouth and roared. "What? Such big words, I can't let you live." The moment this undead opened its mouth, a stinky smell came out. Su Yang frowned and instantly slashed with Heart Slayer. He killed undead race participant. Acquired special ability, Rebirth +1. Swishy. After killing this undead, Su Yang directly blew away the surrounding air. He only started breathing after he had completely blown away the stench. The breath of this undead race is too bad. If we encounter such people in the future, we must never let them speak. Su Yang looked at the dead, undead race contestant with a little disdain. Fortunately, this fellow had given him another chance at rebirth. This made him feel better. At this time, Su Yang looked around and saw 300,000 to 400,000 undead monsters. The undead monsters in this area might be the last batch he could kill. This was because, from the information on the skull communication device, he knew that the other undead race contestants were probably dead. "A demon! How dare you steal my kills? I won't let you off." Su Yang's eyes turned cold as he recalled the warning message that the undead race participant had sent not long ago. However, for the time being, he had to kill all the undead monsters and obtain gold coins to increase his strength. After that, he would move out and find that hateful guy. Just as Su Yang was about to use Heart Slayer to once again use the Burning Mountains and Burying Seas technique, suddenly from the corner of his eye, he caught a glimpse of a figure not far away, rushing in his direction. Chapter 87, Chapter 87, The Seriously Injured Fairy, Submission. Another participant from another world. Looking at the dazzling figure, Su Yang squinted his eyes and held Heart Slayer in his hand, waiting for the other party to come. However, he soon discovered that the figure looked a little crooked. He seemed to be injured and couldn't walk normally. "What's the situation?" Su Yang was a little confused. After some thought, he decided to go over and check out the situation. "What?" As soon as he got close, Su Yang couldn't help but frown. This was because this was a woman wearing a clean dress, similar to the Dragon Kingdoms. He was certain that she is from a different race, but she didn't look too different from humans. Moreover, from the looks of her, she had indeed suffered serious injuries. Her bright red blood had already stained her white dress. At this moment, The foreign woman also noticed Su Yang's arrival and raised her head slightly. A fair, oval-shaped face with clear and bright eyes appeared in Su Yang's eyes. At first glance, she had a delicate and extraordinary sense of breathtaking beauty. Although Su Yang was also stunned for a moment, his face remained calm and indifferent. After all, he was a man who could kill a succubus without hesitation. Of course, Su Yang was also an ordinary person in essence. However, he knew very well that in the ranking battlefield, no matter how beautiful she was an alien race and an enemy. That was why he was able to kill beautiful women with a swing of his sword and advance without any hesitation. Heavens, she was too beautiful. It's a pity that she ran into Heavenly Sun, a pity. Which race is she? She's so beautiful, just like a fairy. What's the use of being beautiful? Heavenly Sun won't let her off just because she's pretty unless she kneels down and submits like that skeleton. Maybe then Heavenly Sun will let her off. On the blue planet, the humans who were paying attention to Su Yang's situation in the ranking battlefield were instantly stunned when they saw the heavily injured foreign tribe woman's face when she looked up. Everyone began to guess what would happen to this fairy-like woman in the end. That is the genius of the immortal spirit world, spirit right. What happened? How did she receive such a heavy injury? You're only paying attention to the situation of Heavenly Sun and have neglected the situation of the participants from the other worlds. Previously, the Immortal Spirit Group's participants ran into Tai Yuan of the Abyss on the way and were defeated by Tai Yuan alone. It was not easy for her to get out of it. That's right, I've noticed it too. The Abyss's contestant, Tai Yuan, is too powerful and strange. I feel that even Heavenly Sun might not have been poisoned to death by him. Tai Yuan has the ability to devour, so he's definitely not weaker than Sky Sun. Furthermore, he no longer has 3 undead armies controlled by the undead race, so his strength has increased by an unimaginable amount. Heavenly Sun is definitely no match for him. The Abyss is a world full of blood and killing. Which genius who can rise from the killing is simple. The powerhouses from all realms who had been paying attention to Su Yang's situation quickly recognized the woman after noticing her. Following that, some of the experts also explained the reason why the spirit fairy had been seriously injured. Instantly, this caused the powerhouses from all realms to sigh with emotion. The divination is auspicious, but there is a black mist surrounding. Can the fairy survive this calamity? In the immortal spirit world, on a majestic mountain peak, Immortal Kai lingered. The old man who was playing chess at the top looked at the situation on the blue planet. He did divination, then frowned and whispered. According to his divination, although it was an auspicious sign, there were some dark rooms lingering around, making the divination a little confusing. Even he could not tell. He couldn't help but frown as he looked at the situation on the ranking battlefield. He looked at the heavily injured, non-human woman. Su Yang held Heart Slayer in his hand and pondered whether he should just directly cut it with a knife. She seemed to have felt the killing intent from Su Yang. The heavily injured, non-human woman's face turned even paler, and a trickle of blood appeared at the corner of her mouth. Heavenly Sun. She looked at Su Yang and said in a trembling voice. Su Yang's title, Heavenly Sun, was no longer a secret. It had been passed on to the various races in the various worlds by the professionals from the other world. Therefore, the participants from all realms who participated in the ranking battle only knew him as Heavenly Sun. Su Yang had long been familiar with this. As such, he did not pay much attention when he heard the foreign woman mention the name Heavenly Son. What? Su Yang looked at the heavily injured foreign woman, who seemed to have something to say to him, and frowned. For the time being, she was not a threat to him. Therefore, he also wanted to hear what this person had to say to him. He noticed that the killing intent on Su Yang's body had dissipated. The female also heaved a sigh of relief. He looked at Su Yang with a little struggle. Before she accepted the order of the immortal spirit patriarch to participate in the ranking battle against the Blue Planet Battle Zone, she had been secretly informed by the immortal spirit patriarch. The immortal spirit patriarch had once read her fortune. She said that she had a special opportunity, and it was in the ranking battlefield this time. This opportunity was from Heavenly Son, which was also Su Yang. She had two choices. One was to rely on her own strength to defeat and subdue Heavenly Son. The second choice was to submit. No matter which choice she made, she would be able to obtain an opportunity. The first choice was very difficult, while the second one was more dangerous. This was because, if she was defeated, she might be killed by Heavenly Son. At that time, the immortal spirit ancestor had suggested that she should choose to submit to Heavenly Son. This way, she would be able to easily obtain this opportunity. In her opinion, the immortal spirit ancestor's suggestion was completely for her to use her beauty to seduce Heavenly Son, sacrifice her, and let the entire immortal spirit world benefit. Ever since she was young, she had been called the pride of the heavens by countless people, so she was still a little prideful. At that time, she had decisively rejected the immortal spirit patriarch's suggestion. However, reality gave her a heavy blow. Before she even met Heavenly Son, she had already encountered another participant, a demon from the abyss who had attacked her. The troops she led were not only defeated and killed by that demon. She was also seriously injured, and had only managed to escape with the help of an escape tool. However, it was difficult for her to heal the heavy injuries caused by the demon. This was because the wound had been corroded by the dark energy in the abyss. At this moment, she recalled the old ancestor's suggestion. Perhaps if she could find Heavenly Son, she would be saved. But now she had really found Heavenly Son, but she didn't know how to start. Was she really going to submit to him, as the immortal spirit patriarch had suggested? Now her injuries could no longer keep her waiting. She didn't want to die just like that. It was as if she had already made a decision in her heart after struggling to death. Chapter 88, Chapter 88. The spirit body of blessing can increase the luck attribute. Heavenly Son. The non-human woman raised her head and looked at Heavenly Son with a determined gaze. I choose to submit to you. Su Yang was stunned. He looked at the non-human woman in front of him in confusion. She wanted to submit to me the moment we met. This was too direct. Su Yang glanced at the foreign woman in front of him. After making sure that she was serious, he squinted his eyes. This was the first time he had encountered a foreign race participant who wanted to surrender to him. Furthermore, she was a pretty girl. This was different from the previous time, when the undead skeleton mages chose to submit to him under his pressure. This time, he hadn't done anything yet. After thinking for a while, Su Yang guessed that this woman might have chosen to submit to him in order to save her. However, he did not want just anyone. She was a woman who looked like a fairy. If there wasn't something that he was interested in, he wouldn't accept it. What value do you have to make me choose to accept your allegiance? Su Yang said indifferently. Hearing Su Yang's question, the spirit fairy was stunned. Originally, she thought that if she said that she wanted to submit, Heavenly Son would immediately agree. Then she thought for a moment and smiled self-deprecatingly. It seemed that she had thought too simply of everything before. Indeed, if he had no value, why would others accept her submission? When she thought of this, she completely let go of her last trace of pride. She looked at Su Yang and blushed. I'm a spiritual body of blessing, I'm a virgin. After my primordial yin is broken, I can directly give you a blessing and increase your luck attribute. I can be your slave or servant and help you fight. Tusk. Su Yang was also a little confused. This non-human woman actually said these words. It seemed that her attitude was very sincere. Furthermore, can increase luck. Su Yang's eyes lit up. The luck attribute could be said to be the most difficult attribute to raise among the hidden attributes. This one was related to luck and luck. After using the lucky item before, Su Yang had a strong interest in increasing his luck. However, he had yet to find a way to increase his luck attribute. How many points of luck can I gain? Su Yang couldn't help asking. The fairy looked at Su Yang's shining eyes and was stunned. However, she quickly reacted and thought for a while. You can increase by 2 to 12 points. Maximum can increase up to 12 attribute points. Su Yang was overjoyed. He thought that he still had a lucky item that he had yet to use. When the time came, he could directly use the lucky item to increase his luck and obtain a higher luck attribute. Sure, I choose to accept your submission. Wait, don't resist. Thinking of this, Su Yang's face revealed a faint smile. He looked at the foreign woman in front of him and nodded. After that, a mysterious light flashed on his hands, and a magic card seal array appeared. With the magic card's sealing ability, he was not afraid that the foreign woman in front of him was pretending to submit. Looking at the magic card's sealing array that appeared in Su Yang's hand, the fairy was stunned. She did not expect Su Yang to have the strongest sealing ability of the wizard tribe, the magic card seal. But now, since she had chosen to submit, she had no thoughts of resisting. Therefore, she was successfully sealed into the magic card by Su Yang. Heavenly Son actually managed to take in this spirit fairy from another race. He's too strong. This ability to seal living things in cards is too convenient. As expected of Heavenly Son, he's really amazing. WTF, such a beautiful fairy had been subdued by Heavenly Son just like that. I'm so envious. On the blue planet, a group of humans who were paying attention to Su Yang's situation in the ranking battlefield immediately began to discuss excitedly when they saw Su Yang subduing the fairy-like alien woman. The genius spirit of the immortal spirit realm actually chose to submit to Heavenly Son. HMPH, this spirit is even worse than the undead skeleton from before. Trash. Spirit Patriarch, your celestial spirit realm is really getting worse with each generation. After seeing Su Yang seal the fairy into the magic card, the experts from all the realms snorted coldly and were very unhappy. Some even looked in the direction of the immortal spirit world and ridiculed. Is there any use in submitting? Tai Yuan's strength is getting stronger and stronger, and Heavenly Son is definitely not its match. The fairy actually submitted to a person who will die soon. How sad. Indeed, Tai Yuan is too powerful. The group of giant dragons from the Dragon Kingdom were instantly defeated when they encountered him. Some of the powerhouses became more and more confident in Tai Yuan as they continued to pay attention to him. A group of giant dragons from the Dragon Kingdom had been crushed by Tai Yuan in just a few seconds. The giant dragons of Dragon Kingdom were considered to be one of the more powerful races in heaven. Among those of the same level, the strength of a dragon was usually at the top. Such a powerful group of giant dragons had been crushed by Tai Yuan in a few seconds. The experts from the various realms immediately thought highly of Tai Yuan. They believed that it had the strength to defeat or even kill Heavenly Sun. This way, they didn't have to worry about Heavenly Sun's revenge on them in the future. A bunch of ignorant people. In the immortal spirit world, the immortal spirit patriarch sat on the top of a mountain and looked at the chessboard. He stroked his white beard and laughed. He completely ignored those mocking voices and even looked down on them. His power of divination was at the top of the entire heaven realm. He had already divined some information that others would find difficult to predict. Although he was unable to calculate the detailed information of Heavenly Sun through divination, he could obtain information such as the speed and degree of future development of the blue planet. He quickly calculated that the possibility of Heavenly Sun dying during his growth was extremely low, and in the future, once Heavenly Sun powered up, his status would definitely not be simple. Only then did he suggest that the spirit fairy directly choose to submit to the sun. His original purpose was to make friends with Heavenly Sun and leave a good impression in front of him. However, as the ancestor of the immortal spirit world and a famous expert in the heaven, he certainly could not reveal his true intentions. Now, seeing that Heavenly Sun had accepted the spirit, he could not be any happier. Chapter 89, Chapter 89. Controlling life and death, becoming stronger with carnage. He flipped through the magic card in his hand. Su Yang checked the information on the magic card. The character card. A life spirit. Level, silver level 49, Overlord. Race, celestial. A profession, spirit sword immortal. A health points, 10%. Mana, 10%. Skills abilities. Celestial sword technique, ethereal Dao technique, magic slayer technique. Talent, blessed spirit body, natural sword body. Status, heavily injured. It seems like I have subdued a foreign genius with great potential. Looking at the spirit's information on the magic card, Su Yang's mouth curved into a smile. Compared to Zhu Ting, the information on the spirit was much stronger. He also had two powerful talents. Among them, Su Yang took a look at the innate sword body and felt that it wasn't weaker than his demon slayer blade body. As for the blessed spirit body, it was just as the spirit had said. Indeed, she could give her first person who broke her yin body fortune and increase his luck. This was simply... Su Yang could not help but click his tongue and did not continue to think about it. Now was not the time. He knew that his situation on the ranking battlefield was being watched by countless eyes. He couldn't let himself become famous in heaven in another way because of this matter. Her health points have dropped to 10%, and she's in a heavily injured state. Casting away the unhealthy thoughts in his mind, Su Yang squinted his eyes and looked at the status information of spirit in the magic card. Even though she was sealed in the magic card, she was still in a state of serious injury. He used his delusion breaker eye to look at the wound on the spirit's body. She was being corroded by an unknown, dark energy. This unknown energy had severe injuries, difficult to heal, and burns. Poison, real injury, there were all sorts of terrifying negative effects. It was similar to Su Yang's current attack. The damage dealt by his own passive effects and the various passive effects on the heart's executioner blade was similar. It seems that the enemy who injured the spirit is not simple. I can't underestimate any of the otherworld contestants. After carefully examining the wound, Su Yang became more and more alert, and his expression began to become serious. Fortunately, the spirit is now sealed in the magic card. In the world inside the magic card, I can control everything. The severe injuries that spirit had suffered were something that could not be healed without special methods and means, unless an even more powerful existence stepped in to help her. However, she was now in the ranking battlefield. Fortunately, she was in Su Yang's magic card. To him, all the creatures sealed in the magic card were under his control. Su Yang did not allow the creature in the magic card to die, so she would never die. This was an extremely powerful ability. Su Yang quickly realized that he could use his ability to control the creature in the magic card to kick out the spirit's injuries and heal her directly. Of course, this process would consume a lot of Su Yang's physical strength. However, with his exuberant energy, he could quickly recover from the physical exhaustion. After thinking about the method to deal with the spirit, Su Yang looked at the magic card in his hand that had spirit sealed in it. A light flashed in his hand, and then quickly enveloped the entire magic card. In the magic card, the various wounds on the spirit cage's body, as well as the unknown energy attached to the wounds, were gradually removed. In the process, he had almost checked the spirit's entire body, inside out. Su Yang calmly licked his lips. The effect of exuberant energy took effect, quickly restoring his exhausted physical strength. After a while, the magic card showed the spirit's health points and status, which quickly recovered her health. Her HP had also recovered to 100%, and her heavily injured state had also disappeared. Ahoo! Su Yang sighed and looked at the magic card in his hand with a faint smile. He then released the spirit from the magic card. Coming out of the magic card, the spirit blinked her bright eyes in a daze. Soon she realized that she didn't feel the intense pain from before. Instead, she felt relaxed and comfortable. Her face immediately revealed a happy expression. She sighed in her heart. As expected, the immortal spirit patriarch's divination was powerful. Her path of survival and opportunity lay with Heavenly Sun. Now, since she had already surrendered, and her resources had been sealed in the magic card, she had to make changes and strive to help Heavenly Sun. This way, she would not be abandoned in the future. Heavenly Master. The spirit looked at Su Yang. Just as she was about to speak, she thought of this and quickly changed the way she addressed him. Su Yang also felt the change in her attitude and was very satisfied. Your name is Ling, so I'll call you Little Ling from now on. Yes. The spirit nodded. Su Yang nodded as well. Then, as if thinking of something, he quickly wiped away his smile and looked at the spirit. By the way, how did you get such an injury? Hearing Su Yang's question, a hint of killing intent and hatred flashed through Little Ling's eyes. No, she quickly responded, collecting her thoughts and quickly replying. The injuries on my body were caused by the sudden attack of a terrifyingly powerful demon, a contestant from the abyss world. This demon slaughtered a group of undead monsters, and its strength kept growing in the process. He has already reached an unimaginable level. Master, if you encounter him, you must be careful. Demon. Demons again. Su Yang squinted his eyes. His heart was filled with killing intent towards this demon who had stolen his prey. Now that he heard Little Ling's words, it seemed that the abyssal demon in this participant from the abyssal world wasn't simple. Moreover, he could actually make himself stronger in the process of killing undead monsters. If this demon is really that powerful, I'll have to use some of my trump cards. After learning this precious information, Su Yang also became vigilant. He decided that if he were to encounter this abyssal demon after this, he would not hold back. He would definitely use his trump card to kill him in one blow. After that, Su Yang obtained more information about this abyssal demon from Zero. Although the spirit did not know much about it, she was still a little confused. However, with just a little bit of information, he was able to analyze that some of the abyssal demon's strength was indeed a little difficult to deal with. Su Yang suddenly felt a sense of urgency. He looked at the hundreds of thousands of undead monsters not far away. It just so happened that he could kill this group of undead monsters and obtain attribute shards to increase his basic attributes. Raging fire, burning mountains and burying seas. He held Heart Slayer in his hand and once again launched a destructive attack at the group of undead monsters. On the other side, as she watched Su Yang's display was so powerful, Ling's eyes kept spinning. Supreme divine flame and the power of the level of fire. He's only silver rank, but he's already mastered the power of a rank. He's so strong. Perhaps it's not a bad idea to follow him. At this moment, roar! A roar came from the sky, and there seemed to be a trace of pain in the roar. Chapter 90, Chapter 90. The Body of God and the Mystic Dragon. He heard the roars in his ears. Su Yang held Heart Slayer and glanced at the group of undead monsters in the flames not far away. Then he raised his head and looked at the sky in the direction of the roar. When Ling heard this roar, her expression changed, and she hurriedly walked over to Su Yang's side. "Master, this roar should be the roar of a giant dragon." "A dragon?" Su Yang looked at the sky in the distance with a thoughtful expression. The forest was overgrown with trees, blocking a large amount of vision. For the time being, it was difficult to clearly see what was happening over there. However, Su Yang and Ling soon saw a giant dragon flapping its huge wings in the sky above the forest. However, the dragon's flying posture was wobbly, as if it would fall in the next second. It's another injured foreign race participant, and it's a dragon. This dragon, could it have been injured by that abyssal demon? Su Yang squinted his eyes and guessed, as he looked at the giant dragon that was about to fall from the sky. At this time, the dragon that looked like it was about to fall flapped its wings powerlessly a few times before losing its strength and continuing to fall. This time, he had really fallen. Su Yang looked in the direction where the giant dragon fell and glanced at the tide of undead monsters shrouded in the sea of fire not far away. After making sure that the 300,000 to 400,000 undead monsters were all enveloped by the divine flame, he was certain that he had not missed out on any of them. He retracted his gaze and thought for a moment before saying, "Let's go over there and see what's happening." "Yes, master." The spirit nodded in response. She was also a little curious about what had happened over there. Could it be that the abyssal demon was already in the vicinity? Thus, Su Yang held Heart Slayer and quickly rushed in the direction of the dragon's fall. While heading towards the direction of the dragon's fall, on the way, a huge amount of attention was focused on Su Yang's post. Level increased. Current level LV48. Received 300 independent attribute points. However, the experience points from the 300,000 to 400,000 undead monsters that had been burned by the supreme divine flame were still too much. Su Yang's level only increased by 1. "You're level 48. I'm not far from the level 50 upper limit. Feeling the increase in experience and the increase in level, Su Yang's pupils rolled and he thought to himself. At the same time, along with the experience, there were also more than 10 million gold coins and a large number of attribute shards. After exchanging all the attribute shards for attribute points, Su Yang's basic bones improved again. His body had received a small enhancement. Basic attributes: Strength 34,124, Constitution 35,111, Agility 30,421, Intelligence 24,613. After briefly looking at the basic attribute information, he had an idea of what to do. Ling, who was beside him, also felt Su Yang's increase in strength. Her bright eyes could not help but reveal a look of surprise and envy. "Master, your basic attributes should be over 10,000 now, right? You're amazing," Ling said enviously. It's all right." Su Yang nodded his head indifferently. "Master, you might not know this, but before breaking through to platinum, the more basic attributes you accumulate, the more benefits you'll get after breaking through to platinum. You're only silver rank now, but your basic attributes have already broken through 10,000. This is a rare existence in heaven." Ling thought that Su Yang came from the New Blue Star District and didn't know much about this, so she directly said, "What? The more basic attributes you accumulate, the more benefits you will get when you break through to platinum." This was also Su Yang's first time hearing about this, and he looked at Ling with interest. Ling explained in detail when she noticed Su Yang's gaze. Platinum grade, also known as the legendary grade, is the last realm before stepping on the path of undying God. Therefore, starting from platinum, you have to condense your own divine body. The more basic attributes you accumulate, the faster the speed of condensing the divine body. There's also enough time to polish an existence of a better grade. The higher the grade of the God body, the moment it is formed, after becoming an undying God, one can quickly climb up to an extremely high level of God advancement. After listening to Ling's explanation, Su Yang's heart suddenly became clear. Condense the body of a God. The higher the base attributes, the more benefits you'll get when you form the body of a God. So it's like this. At the same time, he also knew why he was targeted by so many powerhouses. A platinum grade. It's almost time. Although he was still a step away from platinum, he was confident that it would not be long before he advanced to platinum. Su Yang looked at the spirit with satisfaction. Putting aside the fact that the spirit body was blessed, the spirit itself had also helped him to a certain extent. After feeling Su Yang's gaze, Ling's heart felt much better. Thus, Su Yang and Ling chatted as they rushed toward the place where the dragon had fallen. From Zero, he learned a lot of information about the various realms in heaven. Just as the two of them were talking and hurrying on their way, Su Yang soon saw the figure of a silver-white dragon. There were countless mysterious runes on the dragon's body, which glowed with a faint light. It seemed as if they were flowing on the dragon's body. "The mystic dragon. What's going on?" Ling asked with a hint of surprise. "What's so special about the mystic dragon?" Su Yang looked at the dragon and then at Ling. Mystic dragons are the magic geniuses of the dragon race. They have extremely high magic talent, and the power of their magic skills far exceeds that of ordinary people. Ling quickly explained. "The magic genius of the giant dragon race." Su Yang nodded and walked towards the dragon that was lying on the ground. When he got closer, he noticed that the silver-white body of the mystic dragon was covered with a few deep claw marks. He could feel familiar, ominous energy from its wound. As expected, it's the damage caused by the abyssal demon, Su Yang confirmed after observing the wounds on the dragon's body. Roll. Get lost, you ants. The mystic dragon was furious when it noticed Su Yang, who was approaching it and looking at it without restraint. The dragon's eyes glared at Su Yang and roared. He then swung his dragon tail and swept it towards Su Yang. Yo, you have a big temper. Su Yang easily dodged the dragon's tail that was sweeping toward him. Then, he squinted his eyes and re-examined the mystic dragon in front of him. Roll. The injured dragon looked very irascible. When he saw Su Yang avoid his attack, he roared. In the next moment, the runes on Zhenk's body began to shine even more brightly. Then the surrounding temperature dropped. The air instantly froze. Even Su Yang's area seemed to be frozen. A woo-woo-woo. In less than a second, the frozen area let out the howling sound of a strong wind. We are dead. Seeing that the mystic dragon dared to attack first, Ling could already imagine what would happen to the dragon while she defended herself against the blizzard. That's a wrap for this installment. Thank you all for watching and supporting Lord of the Stories. If you enjoyed this tale, please hit the like button, share it, and subscribe for more amazing stories. You can also explore other series updated daily in our playlists. Have a fantastic day and see you in the next episode.